Hello everybody, I'm Shannon. In the previous video, I treated the basic rules of combining vocabulary and the grammatical word which starts with a. Today, I am going to talk about the irregular form changes. The form patterns of combining for the expressions beginning with a are divided into two kinds. One binds regularly and the other binds irregularly. As I mentioned earlier, there is no special standard for distinguishing the words that cause irregular form changes from the words that don't. So, try to memorize the vocabulary to put in front of this expression. Let's see the special rules for the consonants 디귿, 비읍, 시옷, 히읗, 리을. When the word having 디귿 as the last letter to the combination with a, the consonant 디귿 turns 리을. And these are the words that the rule applies to. So 듣다 comes into 들어. The consonant 디귿 doesn't stay in the place anymore. And the other words are applied to the same rule. So they form 걸어, 싫어, 깨달아. Of course, you put either a or after the vocabulary following the same energy of the last vowel of the word, just as what you've learned. However, there are the words which are not subject to this rule. 닫다 comes into 닫아, just by the rule for the consonant ending word that you've learned in the previous lecture. And in the words 받다, 믿다, 굳다, 얻다, the consonant 디귿 doesn't change the form. So they form 받아, 믿어, 굳어, 얻어. And there is an exception. 묻다 has two meanings. One is to ask, and the other one is to bury. When the word is used with the meaning of to ask, 디귿 changes to 리을. But when with the meaning of to bury, the form doesn't change. It's up to the learner to memorize which words change to 리을 and which words do not change. When it comes to the words with 비읍 as the last syllable, 비읍 changes to 우 when the word meets the vowel beginning form of a. These are the words which the rule applies to. And plus, most of the cases, is followed by the form change as long as the rule applies. So 춥다, meaning to be cold, comes into 추워 by this rule. In the process, the consonant 비읍 turns 우 and then is attached. So the words form 더워, 쉬워, 어려워, 누워, 구워, 주워, etc. However, there are the words which don't change the form even if they have 비읍. And here are the words. So 잡다, meaning to catch, comes into 잡아. And the other words come into 입어, 좁아, 접어, 씹어, etc. And here is an exception. When these two words meet the form a, the 비읍 doesn't change to 우, but 오 instead. So 돕다, meaning to help, comes into 도와. And 곱다, meaning to be beautiful, comes into 고와. However, 비읍 of the words change the form into 우, just like the other words with 비읍, only when they combine with other grammatical expressions except for the ones that go with a in the head. Next rule is about 시옷. 시옷 is eliminated before the form a. And the rule applies to these words. So 짓다, meaning to make or build, comes into 지어, after dropping the consonant 시옷 in the process. and the other words turn 이어, 그어, 부어, 나아 by this rule. The word had a consonant ending syllable in the first place, before its form was changed, so the two vowels e and o that meet by combining are not abbreviated. However, these words are not subject to this rule. So, 씻다, meaning to wash, comes into 씻어, but not 씌어. And the other words turn 웃어, 벗어, 빗어, 빼앗아, etc. Hid is also eliminated before the form 아어. And plus, the vowel form change is the second step, which is that the last vowel of the vocabulary turns to 에, no matter which side among yang and in the vowel belongs to. These words change the form by the rule, and they have something in common, that they represent shapes, colors, and instructions. So 빨갛다, meaning to be red, comes into 빨개. I say this one more time. Whether the vowels of words are positive or negative is not affected by the application of this rule. Therefore, 어떻다, meaning to be how, comes into 어때. So, the other words turn 노래, 파래, 하얘, 동그래, 이래, etc. However, the rest of the words which have hid as the last alphabet are not subject to the rule, such as 좋다, 놓다, 찢다, etc. The consonant hid stays in the place even though it's not pronounced when it's before the form 아어. So the words turn 좋아, 놓아, 찌어, etc. There is another kind of special rules for 으 and 르, which have the same vowel 으 inside the vocabulary as the last vowel and the last syllable as well. First, you divided the words having 으 as the last syllable into the two parts, the ones consisting of only two letters and the ones having three letters as the basic part of the vocabulary. In the case of the ones having two letters, you drop the vowel 으 and then add the vowel 어 after. So 쓰다, meaning to write, comes into 써, and 크다, meaning to be big or tall, comes into 커. But if it's the second case, you think about the nature, yang and in stuff of the preceding vowel of the vowel having 으. If it's positive, it combines with 아, and if it's negative, 어 comes along. So 아프다, meaning to be sick, comes into 아파, because the word has the positive vowel 아 before the letter having the vowel 으. And 슬프다, meaning to be sad, comes into 슬퍼, because the word has the negative vowel 으 here. And the other words here apply to the same rule for each. Next, since 르 also has the vowel 으, the previous 으 rule applies the same. However, in the case of a word with the letter 르, add the consonant 리을 to the combination. These three represent the steps for forming. So 고르다, meaning to choose, comes into 골라, and 부르다, meaning to call, sing, or be full, comes into 불러. Through the process of that, the positive vowel 오 goes with the positive vowel 아, while the negative vowel 우 goes with the negative vowel 어 after dropping the vowel 으, and then adding 리을. So the words turn 빨라, 달라, 일러, 골라, 몰라, etc. And there are a few words that are not subject to this rule. Here are the exceptional words 따르다, 치르다, 다다르다. They don't have the additional consonant 를, which is the second step. So, 따르다, meaning to follow or pour, comes into 따라 but not 달라. Just like the way how the words having only 으 without 를 on it in the letter goes in. So, these words turn 치러, 따라, 다다라. And 이르다, meaning to reach, comes into 이르러, not 이러. Because the word doesn't lose the vowel 으 and is followed by 러. It's an exception, and this is the only word in this case. Lastly, let's look at the rules that apply to nouns. When a word ends in consonant, it combines 이어, and when it ends in vowel, it combines 여. So, 학생 goes with 이어 after it, and 의사 goes with 여 when they combine with the form. However, unlike adjectives and verbs, nouns are used with 아어 only when other grammatical patterns are added together, like 학생이어서 or 의사였어요, etc. Which means that there must be something else after the form. We are going to talk about this later again in another video. So today we looked at one of the most important basic grammar points of many things to go on for studying Korean. I will explain the other two types for combining in the next session. Thanks for watching. 감사합니다.